Muck. We're mucking again.
Transcend the monkey.
We're mucking again.
We're doing a little bit of mucking today, as we do sometimes. We got an interesting
Muck.
interesting show here prepared.
Sorry about my sheen.
It's very
It's
blinding.
got a blinding
frankly.
sheen going on here. I apologize.
I just want to
Brought
make
to you
sure
by
this. I did this differently this time.
Bud Light Lime.
It looks like it's. Yep.
Beer round here.
Yeah. All right. Looks good.
All I heard was my idiot.
YouTube.
Muck.
And Rumble. It's the same thing. Yeah, it looks good.
That's all I can hear all the time is my muck.
People are like, is there a chicken in there? We got chickens in here, by the way. All right. Well, today we got a couple of topics. We'll be talking about the Elon Musk situation because that's better than reality TV, to be honest. Mm-hmm. It's like Keeping Up the Kardashians. No, I wanna know what's going on with Keeping Up with Elon Musk and his. Not even like billions, tens of billions of dollars in dick slapping is basically what's happening here.
Yeah.
We've got the story that many people have heard about with the Libs of TikTok situation. That's kind of really terrible.
Wow.
And there was an interesting...
They've all got green or blue hair.
Most of them do, yeah. Most of them. Yeah. Some of them have purple.
I'm non-binary. Listen.
Whatever that means.
Listen, if you want to be gender fluid, non-binary, you want to do whatever. I don't care what the fuck the name is. You want to do whatever you want. I really don't give a shit. It doesn't bother me at all. But when you're like, a teacher or a child's caregiver or something, that's fucked.
And Donald Trump did an interview with Piers Morgan where Piers Morgan posted a very... Well, according to Trump, an extremely deceptively edited trailer for it to kind of make it look like Trump stormed out. We'll play that trailer and look at Trump's response because it sounds like they were lying. Because I guess the Trump team posted the audio that completely disproves the narrative that I guess the narrative that the trailer paints. And so they're like, Pierce is lying here.
Does Piers have his own show? Like, is that what it is?
I think so. I don't know. He might be with a network.
He's a fucking weird one, that guy. Like, he's like a...
Well, he was a Trump supporter, but he's since said that he regretted it.
That's what I mean. He's like a flip-flopping weirdo. I don't get it. You'll see him, he makes good points sometimes, and other times he's weird. I don't know. I don't know how to take that guy. Sometimes I think I agree with him, then other times I think he's just like he's basically doing it for the likes, you know what I mean? Like, he's basically going whichever way he thinks the wind is gonna blow him. So he's a big fucking phony.
It does feel like it.
Yeah.
It does feel like that's like when you say, "Oh, I regret supporting Trump" or whatever. That's kind of like getting caught up in the in the wind.
I don't regret any of that. Like, I don't regret the fact that I said Trump was gonna be garbage before he was president. I don't regret that. So at the time, that was. To the best of my knowledge, it seemed like
what you thought might be the case, right?
Like, that was my opinion at the time. But then when I saw it differently, it swayed my opinion. That's all. Like, my opinions change. I don't just fixate my opinion on something. And like, if you have information that's going to sway my opinion, my opinion's going to sway. But I won't say, I regret saying that. No, I'm just that was what I thought at the time. Excuse me. I know this chick, Taylor Lorenz.
Taylor Lorenz. All right. Let's start off with this this story here. If I can get it to work. I always forget to click the right button. I'm always clicking the wrong buttons here. They're very organized. That's what she said. So you heard about this Libs of TikTok situation.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And their computer's frozen. So, are
we frozen?
Be good. This might be bad.
Did we just freeze right up?
The computer's frozen. I don't know if we're... Okay, no, it looks like we're still...
back.
We're still live. I don't think it interrupted that. It was just the computer being a little bit autistic, as it sometimes does. It's okay.
You leave my autistic computer alone, man.
Listen, we love it. It's, it's all right. So, the Washington Post... There we go. The Washington Post... basically, they didn't directly do it. They published the link to the home address of Libs of TikTok, which I guess we'll. Yeah, I'm 50-50 on what I want to do first. I got a couple things that I want to do in relation to this story, but I guess we'll look at the article first. The reason I pulled up this article from timcast.com is because Tim Pool was talking about it. They apparently, according to Tim Pool, he spent a little bit of money to do a proper sort of public record search to verify if this is the address of the individual behind Libs of TikTok. And according to their search, they found that, yes, it was. And so it's basically, according to their reporting here on Timcast, Taylor Lorenz did, in fact, post the address or the link to the address. She denies it. I do believe that her comment is on here.
Whoa. That was a good one.
This is kind of freaky. Because I believe that this is an image that one of Libs of TikTok's relatives posted of Taylor Lorenz showing up to their house. Yeah, this Washington Post journalist shows up to the house of family members of an anonymous, I guess, mainly Instagram, not even content creator, because Libs of TikTok is like an aggregator. So like people send her these clips and she posts them.
Yeah.
It's not even like, she's not even doing commentary or anything. She's not adding anything other than just posting their words to the internet.
Yeah.
and the journalist from the Washington Post is showing up to her family member's house. There is some hypocrisy on there. Yeah, so Lorenz's statement to Timcast was, "I did not publish her home address." That was her post. Even though she did. Yeah. Now they did take it down after the backlash, but you can go into the archive, which exists, and you can get access to the address. So anybody who wanted it now has access to it. And this is just a funny little tweet that I guess Libs of TikTok posted from Taylor Lorenz, April 3rd. If your segment or story on online harassment leads to even worse online harassment for your subjects, you fucked up royally and should learn how to cover these things properly before ever talking about them again.
Who is this Taylor Lorenz anyway? I've heard of her, but is she like
just a journalist for the Washington Post?
Oh, that's it?
Yeah. That's less than impressive.
Yeah, I've seen her before though, so she's somehow making a name for herself doing something like some
Taylor Lorenz smash or pass from Gizzo. What are you saying?
What's that? I'm just
smash or pass.
Oh, smash or pass. She looks a little bit like a smash.
She looks kind of cute.
Yeah. I don't know.
I
get in trouble for saying that, but if I'm gonna look at her,
she is probably like a radical feminist.
Yeah.
Consensually smash.
Hold on.
I got written agreement.
Do I have to talk to her?
No, I don't. Listen to her? I don't think that's in. It's just smash or pass. I don't think you have to talk to her.
Yeah.
At all.
Then that ups it, obviously, right? If I've got to spend some time with her and listen to her awful points of view on things, then no, that'd
be insufferable.
That's
like I'm not taking her out to dinner.
That's gonna be a pass. Yeah.
Look, I'm meeting up with her. 30 minutes tops.
Yeah.
And then we're done.
And we're like, hey, out. Yeah, I got like 20 minutes. Can I show up?
Yeah, basically. I got places to be.
So yeah, no, she.
It's also terrifying too that the Washington Post is the media outlet owned by Jeff Bezos. Yeah, and they're doing this now.
I don't understand, man. I don't understand what's going on. I mean, if maybe in his mind he has he wants that monopoly that way to try and create, I don't know, some kind of weird dissension amongst people, and that somehow in his mind will help his business. Maybe, I don't know. Or is it about that anymore? Or is it just, remember we said this before, when these people get so much money that money isn't it's not
money anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't attract.
Like what Elon Musk is doing with Twitter, it's not money anymore.
Right.
It's just not.
But
there's no
so
impact.
You can either
on
have
life.
a sort of like a I want to say evil, but you can have sort of like a very I don't know how to frame this, how to say it, but I'll just say evil. Let's just say you could have an evil intent, or you can have sort of a good intent based behind what you're doing with the money. But it's like people become playthings to these people. You know, for example, take someone like Hugh Hefner, right? To him, sex. So imagine, what's this ad block? Oh.
I said ad block has been updated.
Oh,
it took me off the page to let
weird.
me know that ad block was updated.
So, like Hefner, when he was, by the time he was in his fucking even 60s, 70s, I'm sure regular sex to him was so uninteresting that he couldn't do it. He just couldn't do it anymore. He'd have to have sex with like 4 or 5 people at the same time.
Yeah.
Maybe guys too. Who knows? And then do weird fucking shit, because every time you push the envelope on anything, you just got to keep pushing the envelope to get that hit. So these people like that, like a Jeff Bezos, like, what else do you do?
Yeah, what is his thing?
Yeah, what else do you do now at this point?
I mean, you get situations like Epstein Island coming out. It's like they're doing that stuff. I mean, not that Bezos is involved in that at all, but people at that level of power where it's like money doesn't matter, they do fucking weird things. And
so maybe it's like maybe he doesn't give a fuck, really. Like, maybe he doesn't have any real horse in the race, but he just does it to be a fuck. Oh, what's the comment?
It says control the information, control the narrative. Joseph Goebbels, I think, is...
Oh, Goebbels. Yeah.
He said maybe. He's not even sure that that's the quote. Oh. But yeah, that does seem to be... I don't know if there's like alternative motives here either, where, Bezos wants to have the Washington Post so that, he could post articles about, like, I don't know, maybe how SpaceX is unethical and why the government needs to, give their contracts to Blue Origin. Or if it's more in the political sphere, like where he wants to guide the cultural, paradigms, in our society.
I don't know, because, like, if you were to try and think about how you would handle that kind of thing, or I can say personally, I know me and the way I would be if I get to a level where money meant nothing, literally nothing to me.
I would buy Twitter.
Well, I don't even know what I would do that way, but I'm saying, but my sort of, I think my now new goal would be to have a legacy, like a major legacy. And I think the best way to have a major legacy where it would just transcend time would be if you were to be the most philanthropic person that you could be, right? Yeah. You did all these different things, like that's why you see like names of people on museums and hospitals and all that shit, because they're hoping that they'll stay. Yeah,
you get your legacy though. Well, I guess there are 2 ways, right? Like you horrify people to a point that they can't forget you,
right? Like
or or you donate $100 million to the hospital,
or you're Mother Teresa or something like that, right?
Yeah, Mother Teresa is a weird one.
It's a little bit of a weird one.
There's some weird stuff about her, but
I don't know if that's true or not. I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I hate that. I hate when you hear shit like that, because you're like,
you want them to be.
It's somebody's trying to tarnish something, that might not be true at all. So I don't know. But what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that's right. He did do that. Okay.
What's that?
He pointed out Jeff Bezos was asked why he bought the Washington Post in an interview. And his answer was, because I think it's important who the president is. So he is trying to control. Oh, that's right. He did say that. He is trying to control, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
Which is actually is crazy. When you go back to this Elon Musk buying Twitter fiasco, or trying to buy Twitter fiasco, and they're like, all of a sudden, the media... Well, okay, so Bezos says this, right, about what he wants to do. Like, I think it's important who the president is. And the media... posted I forget the exact quote, but there was a contrast in tweets where the media was like, how Bezos buying the Washington Post marks like a shift in the cultural paradigm, or something, where like a shift for the better, or something like that, like painting it in a good light, like this is a good thing. And then in the same outlet, in regards to Elon trying to buy Twitter, talking about how billionaires trying to take over things is a scary.
Oh, it's funny how you
especially since Bezos wants to control who the president is, And Elon wants people to have the right to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? And that's how they're reacting. Like, that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, excuse me. But I mean, again, I don't like to do that thing where I say one person's evil, one person's not evil. I don't think it's good and evil at this point. I think honestly,
I think some people are evil.
Well, no, I'm not.
I think Taylor Lorenz is evil.
I don't know about that.
Based on things that she's saying about doxing and then going out and doing it.
I don't think she's evil necessarily. I think
she's evil.
I think it is. She's just hungry to be somebody. She's hungry for everybody to know her name. She's just the same as like what's her face? AOC. Like look at that bitch. That bitch has an acronym for her name now.
There's an element to that influencing her motives, but I think her main goal in this situation was to hurt. It was to hurt. It was to destroy. Lipstick TikTok only has like 20,000 followers.
No, I know.
They're not like. This is an individual that has a day job. They're not somebody making millions of dollars.
But they're holy shit. I bet you now if you look, they got a fucking shit ton now. They were on Tucker Carlson.
The Babylon Bee is supporting them.
So what I'm saying though is I think this is just my opinion, obviously, but I think that people are. I don't think it's good and bad. I think it's just perspective. Like your perspective, my perspective, someone else's perspective. And I think what they're trying to do with that is they're just trying to be as popular and as relevant as they can be. So she just does these things because it's a hot button. Like I think somebody like that, like this Taylor Lorenz chick, would probably just as quickly flip the script the other way if that were the way that she felt the wind was blowing. Like if she got a lot of backlash and a lot of shit for what she's doing now, she just flipped the other way. Like
she did. And she's crying about it. She's talking about how she has like PTSD for being a journalist.
Look, fucking AOC did the same thing. She's like, that's what these fuckers do. They just
AOC is about attention.
That's what they all want attention.
I think there are certain actions where it's just to me like I can't not just call it evil because it seems it's like what's the term? Is dirty bomb the right term? Yeah. Where they're just trying to. Right, they have a target, but they can't necessarily.
They're just gonna fucking.
So they're just gonna blow up the whole block or something, right? That's dirty bomb.
It's like carpet
bombing. I think
bombing,
that's what Taylor Lorenz is doing here. It's like a political dirty bomb, where she has her target, and she wants to hit the target. She doesn't give a damn about. She doesn't care if the address is the wrong address, and there's an Instagram.
No, I agree.
She doesn't care that there was another person with the same name on Instagram that was getting harassed.
Yeah. No, I agree with everything you're saying. Right? I agree with everything you're saying. I just think that the intent doesn't necessarily mean it's evil. Like her intent,
it does.
I think her intent is just selfishness. It's just she's just trying to be popular, and at any cost. You know what I mean? It's like it's the same thing when you hear like actors or actresses, and they'll go, "Oh, I would never do TV. Oh my god, I would never do TV. I want to be a film actor. Like, I'm a film actor." And then they get a fucking big TV role, and suddenly their tunes change. You can't take what they're saying for anything more than than bullshit.
This is maybe an interesting conversation to go down. He says Elon's stance on free speech, he's Gizzo, is admirable, but his stance on anonymity is questionable. He seems stuck on rooting out bot activity through more stringent authentication. Now, this is something that I've thought about, where I do wonder if it would be just better if you couldn't be anonymous in certain parts of the internet.
Yeah.
Or like say on Twitter, maybe you just aren't allowed to be anonymous.
We talked about this. Did we talk about this not on a podcast?
Maybe. I don't remember talking about this.
I'm 100% sure we talked about this. I don't know who else I would have talked to
on
about
a podcast.
But I don't know. Anyways, but I remember having this very conversation about that. Like, I think there are certain spheres where you, like, if you're of a certain, whatever, I don't know. Like, if your message on the internet is of a certain type of thing, then you shouldn't be anonymous. You should be.
Or what about this? What about it? It depends on how serious. Like, what if somehow the culture was shifted so that anything posted by anybody, like you could be anonymous on the internet, perfectly fine. You can be anonymous on the internet. We're not forcing anybody to, not be. But what if, when you post your,
That's not a fart. That's my seat.
That's funny.
No. Oh, is that what you thought it was a fart?
I wonder if it came in.
Anyway,
Anyway,
that's not a fart. It's a seat.
sounded like a fart. Anyway,
I would totally fart if I had to. But that wasn't. Sadly, that wasn't a fart.
We'll have a fighting war, or farting war. But so you're not forced to not be anonymous, but you in the culture, we just don't take you seriously at all.
Yeah.
If you're not. So we look at here's the people who are forthright about their identity. Right. Like, you and I are not anonymous.
No.
These are our faces.
You're
Those
right.
are our actual names on the screen.
Yeah.
Like, so, maybe you get people doing this sort of thing get taken a little bit more seriously than people who are behind an avatar and a username.
Yeah, but we just
maybe a lot more seriously.
We just spew out opinions essentially.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that you and I should be taken seriously.
No, I know.
But I'm saying in the greater street, you have somebody doing this, talking about news and trying to put something forth.
Yeah. Remember what I said about that? We talked about. I'm sure you and I talked about this. I said if you were like a news outfit, excuse me, then you had to be like you would be essentially labeled as such. And your content would have to be non-opinionated content. It would have to be just basically just reporting of news without spin. Like, so for example, like Tucker Carlson that's not news. That's an opinion piece most of the time. And do I think that
it's maybe 20%, 80%?
Yeah. I think
it's more like a podcast,
right? Do I think that he's correct on a lot of different things, and I like his view on stuff? Yeah, absolutely. But that's just because it lines with the way I think about things.
It doesn't mean that he's not going out there and saying his opinions.
Yeah.
Maybe sometimes...
I think they're doing the news. I think they're doing the news, but I think they spin it in a way that they want you to hear it from whatever perspective. So that wouldn't be, to me, news. That would be like... That would be opinion type thing. Yeah, news, to me, should be the blandest fucking shit ever. So basically, today, Tyler was outside and he walked from the house over to the pool house. That's a fucking fact. That happened. Like, So yeah, when Tyler left the house to come to the pool house, he may or may not have shit himself. I'm pretty sure he did. To be honest, you know what?
Sources, an anonymous source.
Yeah.
The anonymous source close to the situation says
there was a weird smell.
Yeah.
It's so. I'm with you completely on that. So all the other shit should just be sort of labeled as whatever, like whatever you want to label it as, like whatever you'd label our shit as, fucking opinionated podcast or whatever, right? And we should just be able to say whatever. I
usually take it as entertainment,
right? Whatever the fuck we want to say, we should just be able to say. We're not trying to spew this off as news. This is our opinions. If you happen to like our opinions or like our point of view, then cool. Like maybe we'll.
I think there's an important distinction. Like, I think what we're trying to do ultimately is get as close to the truth as possible in the broadest sense imaginable, from like the nature of reality to like, was this news story factually accurate?
Yeah.
And then other people are more like, I have this narrative that I want to push forward, so I'm going to, I'm going to talk about these stories that pertain to that, and I'm going to frame these things in this way so that it looks like this. And
have you ever had somebody, when you're arguing with somebody about anything, and they go to go on Google or something, right? And they go to search it, and they search it the way that they're arguing the point.
Yeah.
I always say to them, I'm like, no, don't fucking do that. Don't frame the fucking question.
Yeah. Why am I right? They're basically asking.
Exactly.
How am I right?
Please show me the ways I'm right. And it's funny because I forget what it's like, Funny or Die or something like that online. The one set of videos is if Google was a person, and it's just some dude just sitting at a desk, and people are coming up to him with fucking questions and shit, and they're framed in the funny way that you frame shit in your questions. And the one. I forget what it was, but it was something about vaccines or something. She goes, are vaccines unsafe or something like that? And he comes out, I have a million results as to why they're safe, and this one result where they're not or something. She goes, thank you, and she grabs the one, right? And he goes, I have this million over here or whatever, right? But that's the point. It's like,
see,
if you're looking for something, you'll find that something.
Did you see Crowder? I think it's his latest Changed My Mind. Where it was basically changed my mind about biological males should not be allowed to compete with biological females.
Is that a new one?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think he did that before or something like that before.
He's probably done something
'Cause he
similar.
got punched in the face or something. He got attacked by a transgendered.
Yeah, there's a
male to
lot has
female.
happened on Crowder's Changed My Minds, but this one, so he
need a
said,
Of course.
I'll hurry up. And yes,
He's drinking slow today.
but essentially what happened is one of the guys that sat down with him, I forget what university he was at, but one of the guys that sat down with him was a journalist. He's somewhat known, like not super known, but like, you know, few followers, has been published in some mainstream media, right? And he sits down and he's talking about intersex people. And Crowder's like, intersex people is like 0.05% of the population or something like that. And the guy's like, well, no, actually it's like 2%.
Wow.
And Crowder's like, no, it isn't. And the guy's like, well, I could pull up the source. And he pulls it up. And Crowder points out in the retrospective that like the speed that he pulled it up and everything, like he had that article pulled up.
Oh yeah, he had it already on tap.
And it was the narrative was framed, but also the very source that he pulled up proved Steven Crowder was. In fact, it proved that Steven Crowder was overestimating the amount of the amount of intersex people that were born.
Yeah.
But then this guy had this whole stick.
What did he say? 0. It
was like 0.05 or something in the real number.
That's fucking us saying 1 in every 5,000 people or something. No.
Yeah, I don't remember. I don't remember exactly.
That's
what the percentage is.
But either way, that seems high anyway.
Yeah.
So imagine if even 1 in 10,000 people are intersex. Like, I'm not saying that that's not a real thing. That's a totally real thing. There's science behind the idea that there are people that are intersex. Hermaphrodites. There's all kinds of different things for it.
That's the thing that happens.
Yeah, and I can imagine
there's all sorts of genetic deformities.
And I can imagine there are people like completely that in their brain and in their psychology,
like the actual transgender,
that they actually are
that's
the other sex.
That's
but
the
they,
real,
yeah,
it's like the real transgender, the gender dysphoria thing.
Yeah, gender dysphoria.
The question about those people is like, how do we deal with those people? I think, well, I don't know.
Whatever way they want to be dealt with.
Once they're an adult.
And I think if you can ascertain the fact, or if you can actually diagnose somebody as gender dysphoria and you can catch it early, I think you should be able to. What I don't like is the idea that it's like somebody has an idea of something earlier than an adult. If you're above an age that we determine, whatever it is, like I don't want to use the term 18, whatever, but whatever we determine as a society,
I feel like it should be raised.
You think 18 is too young?
I feel like it shouldn't be, but it is, because I think we're coddling people too much. You know what I mean? I think it takes people longer to get to a point where they can make their own decisions. It's
so weird, and I've said this a number of times. It's so weird because I'm such a libertarian that I want to let people have this like free choice over their lives. But you can't, like, a child makes childish decisions. You think as a child, you act as a child. It's very few and far between that you'll find a child of under a certain age, basically, that will make good decisions. Most of them make stupid decisions. You just go, they're a child. That's whatever. They're just figuring it out. So to let them make some crazy ass decision to change their sex or something like that based on maybe an idea is it's a fuck ton of dangerous to me.
Let your little boy, play with dolls and wear a dress because he wants to.
Yeah, let him do that.
It's another thing to, give him puberty blockers that are effectively sterilizing him. Because he,
No, I agree completely. I think if there was a way to fully diagnose it on more than just an idea, essentially, more than just somebody's fucking, I think I'm a boy or I think I'm a girl.
The issue is, it's one of those things that like the individual, it's going to take them a while to figure it out.
That's what I mean.
But we know your answer to this one. 10 out of 10 trans girl, smash or pass.
10 out of 10. Oh, a 10 out of 10
Listen,
trans girl?
We all know you got a little crush on Blair.
Hold on. Yeah, but I want to get the question right. What is this? A 10 out of 10
An absolute
trans girl?
dime.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to smash it.
Yeah, I can't.
I think I'm going to smash it.
It bothers me too much.
Yeah, I don't. Why?
I just don't. I like.
Okay. I
want a real vagina.
Okay, so I like to think 100% heterosexual, which is this is not putting anyone down for being
I
anything else.
honestly don't think that it's gay.
No. But listen,
to like have sex with a trans person who's passing, because it's the aesthetic.
Yeah.
For me, it's just a mental fuck.
Yeah.
Like I've mentioned this before to you. Like I'm not really into like butt stuff because it grosses me out. It's kind of the same thing where it's like a mental.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Thing.
What I'm saying though is like, so
because I can look at a trans girl and be like,
I find nothing about a man sexually attractive. Like I just don't. I don't know. I'm not saying shit to anybody who does. That's cool. Like, do your thing, float your boat. But I don't. So if I saw a woman that had manly characteristics, I would be not attracted to that either, even though she's fully a female. But conversely, if you take a chick that used to be a guy, but she is completely feminine in all ways, yeah, I don't like.
Because it's femininity that you're attracted to.
Because it's femininity that I'm attracted to. Yeah.
And Gizzle says it's a little gay.
Did he say I was a little
He says
gay?
it's a little gay.
Oh, well, all right. Well, what percentage?
Yeah, we need a percentage.
We need a percentage. Yeah, sorry, that Blair White. I find her Blair White, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Blair White's passing, right? Because it's like you're attracted to femininity, and Blair White is like this
I'm also
small,
attracted
feminine
to her
person.
Her cool.
Right, she'd be fun to hang out with.
She seems real cool and down to earth and all that, and I'm attracted to that too. That has a level of it too.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's so weird, right? Like, because back in the day, it was a lot easier. I remember when I was a kid, none of this fucking existed at all. So it was so much easier, right? Like, you were gay, you were gay. If you were lesbian, you were lesbian.
I mean, there was like the transsexual stuff, but it was like in the underground.
I didn't fucking ever see it. I don't remember ever seeing anything to do with transsexualism until I was in high school.
Because it was in the underground.
True, but I'm saying like.
Yeah, even in high school, like, it's not something that you would have found out as a child.
Well, I told you I went to school with a guy. His name was Brian, and then Sam, and then back to Brian. It was weird. Yeah, so I don't know if he was playing games or she or whatever. I don't know what it was, but he, when he was a she, said he'd done all the sex change operation, but then like literally like a year or two later, looks like a guy again.
Clearly a lie.
So yeah, I think he was just doing it for attention or whatever. Going through some weird phase. And again, I don't even give a shit about that. Like, it doesn't even matter to me. If you want to be a cross dresser, you want to do all these kinds of things. It's more for me. It's just be honest about it.
Yeah.
And
it's a dishonesty. It's the subversion. It's the like grooming kids. That's
that. I don't. Yeah. Don't fuck with the kids.
Do you want to watch
Leave the fucking kids alone.
One of Liv's at TikTok's?
Oh, do
videos?
I? No,
we'll just watch. We'll just watch the latest one.
Oh, they're brutal.
God,
they're brutal.
We're gonna have to mute our microphones here in a second because this is going to get loud.
The one where the green haired chick is saying, she's like,
I haven't seen any of this.
Oh my god!
This.
So she's talking about it. She's like, because she does. I guess she's a kindergarten teacher, or she's or for daycare or something like that. She's like, I've told my students that I'm non-binary, and a lot of them don't get it, but some of them get it. And then they're talking. I'm like, why? Why are you fucking telling them any of that shit? I don't go into anywhere.
These adults rely on children to validate their perversions.
Yeah, but I don't go into anywhere and say, hey, by the way, I only like women.
Yeah.
I have a penis. I'm a guy. I have a penis. And You're like, why are you fucking...
It's weird. They obsess over these identity things. It's bizarre.
Identity politics, it doesn't make any sense to me viscerally anyway. It never did.
I think it makes sense from like transcending the monkey, stepping back from the whole thing and kind of looking at monkey behavior.
Right.
I think it makes a little bit of sense psychologically.
So when do we get to flinging poo?
What?
Do we ever get to flinging poo?
I mean, we can fling some poo if you'd like.
I could totally. I know a dude that literally
some people
took a shit in the water and threw it at another guy I know.
Yeah, that's actually the thing. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
My aunt works with.
Shout out to Brennan on that one.
Yeah, my aunt works with autistic kids at a high school, right? So she kind of deals with the kids that like very underdeveloped intellectually.
Yeah.
And she's. I don't know if it was like recently or in the last couple of years, but she mentioned a story one time about this one that would literally throw his shit. He'd like take poo in his hand and throw it across the room.
That's hilarious.
Oh yeah,
and
it's kind of sad.
It's real shitty. It's real shitty.
It's very shitty.
But I'll tell you what: if a fucking kid, autistic or not, threw his fucking shit at me and it hit me,
yeah, I know.
I'd make that kid eat the shit.
Here's the some of those kids, I don't think like they shouldn't. They're like almost forcing them into the sort of public like they should set something else up for kids like that. You know, something that isn't.
I don't want to talk about this, man. That's gonna. This is a gross subject. I don't even want to talk about it. When you talk about kids that are so, they're struggling that way. Yeah. They're developmentally challenged. All these different things. Oh fuck! I don't know what to say about it because
it's a hard thing.
Yeah, because people that have the patience to deal with. I gotta choose my words right here. People are gonna be sending me death threats. People that have the patience. I know. People that have the patience to be able to actually care for. I corrected myself. Care for these kinds of kids are amazing fucking people to me. Like that, we need these. Level. Yeah, you're on a different fucking level
of like empathy.
And I'm not there. I'm not at that level. No, I don't have the patience or the empathy for that.
Like if it was my kid, maybe. Probably.
It's a little different, I guess. I
don't
know, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Like a random kid.
Yeah, imagine.
It's hard.
Just taking care of somebody else's kids anyway, just on its face, and the kids are normal. Like again, so I gotta watch my words. The kids are not developmentally challenged in some way. Is that okay for me to say this? I'm talking about kids. I gotta be careful what I fucking say.
Just say they're retarded. It's okay.
I know. Not allowed to say that word anymore, man.
I don't care what the
unless I'm calling you retarded.
I don't care what the internet
you
police
being retarded
tells me I'm allowed to say. To be honest.
No, but when I'm talking about kids like that, I want to be I want to be sensitive, but at the same time, you know, like I don't want to mince my words too much.
Mentally challenged.
Yeah.
Let's see.
These are really mentally challenged.
I haven't seen any of these at all.
No.
So let's.
All right, this will be fun. There is no sound, sir. Where is the sound? There is no flavor. Where are the chips?
The appropriate way to talk to toddlers about bodies and gender. You know the body parts that your diaper or your panties or your underwear cover? Those are called privates. Everyone has privates.
I'm talking right
Private
now.
means that they belong to you.
I get mad watching these people.
Yeah, this video is
a big miss. But just look at her face.
The internet's too slow.
Her fucking face pisses me off.
Yeah.
Hey.
But why are you talking to kids about this stuff?
Hold on. Look, I want to talk to you a little bit about something, okay? Listen, Tyler, I want to talk to you. I'm going to do this when I'm talking to you about something really kind of fucking weird and creepy. Tyler.
What's it called?
Hey, Tyler, why don't you take your penis out?
It's called.
Why don't you take your penis out, Tyler? Just take your penis out.
It's called something, but it's upspeak. That's what it is. She's being condescending.
It's fucking creepy is what it is. It's fucking creepy. This is a creep that plays with our kids.
Literally.
Fuck.
Yeah.
We're doomed. This is it.
We might be.
This is it, honestly.
You're
fucked, pal. You're fucked. I'm not going to live that long.
Fucked. You're going to live for a while.
No, I don't think so. I have a half brother that just
That's true. Your
passed.
Your time might be coming.
My dad died at 69. My half brother just died at 66. 60s, man. I got till 60s, which for me is 40 years from now.
Yeah, 40 years from now. Yeah. A lot could happen. They're saying the singularity by 2030, maybe.
A singularity.
You know the singularity.
You mean are you talking about the black hole thing theory? Oh, what?
No,
what are you talking about?
the technological singularity. The idea is that technology will progress to a point because it's sort of exponentially going up, and so there will be a point. You've seen how an exponential curve eventually it gets like it'll go up like infinitely in almost no units of time.
Sure. Yep.
That's kind of what the singularity is. It's a point of like imagine we develop an AI that's smarter than humans, and so it starts progressing technologically at a rate faster than we were progressing, which was already pretty fast, and it's upgrading itself and building even better AIs, and it's just something that spirals out of control until it's like whoosh,
Until we've got
just this explosion of technology. Like if you think that the 20th century was an explosion of technology, this would be like the singularity would probably be like the year 0 to the year 2022 in 5 seconds of that amount of development, right? Like, so that's the whole point of the singularity.
So are they gonna allow us to exist anymore? And
that's a question. I mean, who's in control? Maybe the AI takes over, and maybe it just doesn't care about human beings. Like maybe it has its own goals, and it paves over the entire planet just cause. I mean that's a possibility that has been progressed, and then
start
just
with the
human beings are gone.
Start with the libtards.
Yeah, that would be ideal if we could start with them.
Muck, 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 muck.
But all right, this might be a good time to transition. Let's see if we can get this Piers Morgan trailer to play.
Muck, 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 muck.
Okay.
Only a fool would think. You think I'm a fool? I do now. Yeah.
Okay. I muted it.
Orange Man.
The Orange Man is back. He's on Piers Morgan.
Orange Man is bad.
I really don't like these like
bad
auto playing videos. And I don't know what's...
former president in denial.
I don't understand what's happening on the screen right now. Okay, there we go. There's such a long delay.
He does look greasy. Like he's just eating a cheeseburger.
They both do. It's probably the lighting and the makeup that they use.
I feel like Trump might have eaten a cheeseburger that's real juicy and
all right.
Squeezed.
Let's see if this trailer. It's a 30-second trailer. We'll see if we can get a 30-second trailer to play.
All right, let's go.
In denial.
I'll be completely straight with you to your face.
I think I'm a very honest man. Much more honest than you, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a free and fair election. You lost.
Only a fool would think.
You think I'm a fool?
I do now. Yeah.
With respect.
Excuse me.
Okay. With respect.
The
You have
legislature.
produced the hard evidence.
Excuse me.
The most explosive interview of the
I
year.
don't think you're real. This
I
is
realize
just
I'm not like-
very
I
dishonest.
just-
Let's finish up the interview.
Morgan versus
Turn the
Trump.
camera up. Very dishonest.
Only on Talk TV.
Okay, Piers, I'm ready.
A former president in denial.
I'll be completely straight with you.
You
to your
trying to
face.
stop that now?
I think I'm a very honest man.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
So it's quite clearly very edited.
Well,
In a very biased way, but so I guess what Trump is saying is that that part at the end where he said, so for starters, the interview ended, and it ended on good terms, like oh thanks for coming, blah, blah, blah. They shook hands, but then I guess what Trump was saying was that Piers Morgan kept asking more and more questions after the interview was supposedly ended, and so that's where the okay, turn the cameras off thing comes from, and so but Piers is making it sound like he stormed off. But really he agreed to a certain amount of time, 20 minutes, and Piers was trying to. But
why would for one thing, even if Trump did storm off, I'm kind of failing to understand where this would matter anyway to anybody who supports Trump. Number one,
look at Trump, he's unhinged.
I don't think it matters. No, who's listening to Piers Morgan? Like, who gives a shit about him at this point now?
Piers Morgan's big
Yeah, where?
in the UK.
In the UK. So who gives a fuck? It doesn't affect anything. Gives a shit.
It's a big place.
But what I'm saying, though, it doesn't affect the politics in the States.
No.
Like, who cares about, like Boris Johnson? Like, it doesn't matter what we think. We think he's a fucking idiot over here. Like, we've been taught to think he's an idiot over here. I don't know whether he is or not. He seems like a buffoon, but maybe he's
been
not.
weird. He seemed all right, and then he went very establishment and
Yeah.
did as he was told.
Well,
and
what
it's
I'm saying, look, I'm doing the same.
He's like trying to play
I'm doing your bullshit now.
both sides. Yeah, I got you. Fucking. Well, get those fucking crumbs off of there before you take a bite. You can't be biting your crumbs.
What I mean, it's like, I think anybody who kind of knows Trump or anybody who doesn't, again, I'm in the middle. I don't give a fuck. I don't care either way. I'm not a Trumper. I'm not a Trumpist or who the fuck you're. I'm not a trumpet. But
You look kind of like a trumpet.
anyways, I like some of his policies and stuff. I think he's a bit of a blowhole or blowhard.
I think his approach to running a country like a business is better. Well, maybe
So do
not
I.
ideal, but better than the
I agree.
standard.
But I've always thought that.
Status
I've
quo.
always thought you should
Yeah.
run it like a business. I think if you run it like a business, it runs better. Now, but when you watch Trump in other interviews and stuff, like even when he was like interviewed by that fucking dickbag Wallace,
Chris Wallace.
Chris Wallace. What a stupid interview that was.
Yeah.
And he tolerated it. Same with what's her face, Diane Sawyer or whatever. Is Diane Sawyer? I don't know. Old fucking 60 Minutes, fucking broad. The same thing. Like he tolerates a lot of bullshit. Now he just takes the heat.
Yeah.
But
That's
because
why
I think he has an ego to the point where he
really-
thinks he can just be combative back, right? He thinks he's going to do very well back, but what
I
he doesn't
think
realize.
he understands that it doesn't matter. I think that he's at a point in his life where it's like he's accomplished so much, and he has everything. Right? He's a billionaire. He has a family. I think that he knows. Like he doesn't like. Yeah, sure, he wants a legacy, but like. I think he knows that just kind of being true to himself and not really bending in certain ways, in ways that maybe aren't true to himself. Like, so you can say the ways that he does bend maybe he agrees with those directions, right? And that's why he does it. So you might criticize him because you don't agree with it, but maybe he does. So maybe like just kind of having this honest approach, being yourself, which is somewhat combative.
I think he's a bit of a narcissist.
Not really taking shit. He's definitely a narcissist.
I don't think he's a full-on narcissist, but I
like,
think he's a bit of a narcissist.
I don't
sure.
know that you can get to his point
Maybe
in
not.
life
I don't know.
without being narcissistic.
That's such a lazy thing to say. Oh, this person's a
Yeah,
narcissist.
I know. It doesn't do anything.
Right.
even if he was like a pathological narcissist,
Right.
it doesn't mean anything.
He has at least narcissistic tendencies, right?
Yeah.
But I agree with you. Yeah, I think it's you have to be that way to get to that level. You have to step on people's. You have to step on toes. You have to do some things.
Heard a fascinating idea, theory, very esoteric, where I guess what had happened or was happening leading up to 2012 is so I guess the remote viewers
2012 or 2016?
2012
Oh.
when the world was supposed to end.
Oh.
And so what they're saying happened. 2012 wasn't a prediction of like the end of the world, but what it was a prediction of like a colliding of probabilities, where of all the possible outcomes and scenarios that could happen in the multiverse, where like all of these, well, there is a multiverse and all of these things are happening. In 2012, there's a convergence where the same thing will always happen, or or something happens always, and they can't control it. And yeah, it's an out there theory, and what they got, basically where they get it from is like, I guess the remote viewers were like trying to remote view into the future and find out what happened, but they could never see past 2012 because they knew that something would happen in 2012, and that's the only thing that they knew, but they couldn't figure out what it was. And like governments know about it, and secret agencies know about it, but it's like a point of the establishment losing control.
What's their pronouns?
I don't think it matters.
The establishment? Yeah, it does.
I don't think it does.
I think it's they them.
Because they're losing their control now, which is apparently sort of what this whole thing is. It's
Maybe think about it this way. This is a very simplistic sort of monkey brain synopsis of it. Think about if you're starting something new, at any time. You're trying to learn something new. The first time you're doing it, you're useless at it. Like you're just like your brain doesn't. It doesn't make any sense to you. Like, oh my god, this is so fucking brand new. You keep trying at it, you keep learning, keep whatever, and eventually, after time, you start to get to know it, and then at some point, something clicks. It's just second nature to you. Your brain goes, "Whoa, I get this completely, innately on an innate level." What if that's like our human experience? The whole time we're on this sort of planet, in our timeline, and what we're doing, we don't understand shit because it's as if it's there's so much there that we're just being introduced to it all at once, and this experience just kind of keeps on going over and over and over and over in time. So there's like, if time is like not necessarily a linear type thing, and it's just fluid and ever present, and you can be in any different time period at any different time. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like
all of time is happening at
it's
once.
always happening at once, right? Maybe we just keep basically fucking it up, and we keep over and over and over, and it's just this crazy fucking loop that just keeps happening. Like I don't know, like something
some
that's stuck
people
on.
will say that you constantly get reincarnated in the same, like you have to get, like you, Alex, have to get this right before you can move on.
Almost like
so you're just gonna keep being Alex.
Yeah, there's been movies like that.
Yeah, so you're just like Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
Stuff like that. But like this is like you're gonna live your life and then you're gonna die, and if you didn't get it right, you gotta go back to the beginning and do it again.
Yeah, that's funny.
But
to bring it back, I don't know, how the fuck did we just get off Trump and go over to there, man?
We
need to smoke weed or something.
No, you don't want to know where we would go. Imagine fucking doing some mushrooms before this. It's just a little bit of mushrooms to stimulate the imagination. Fucking
that'd be a fucked up conversation.
Wild place.
Remember the conversation we were having when we did that little bit of whatever you call it. Well, remember how many times we were just. I don't know if you remember. We talking to you about something, and I'd just be like, I would just be talking, and I'd be like, I don't know, man. Like, it doesn't. What's it mean anyway? I don't even, what's that even mean? I don't even know what I'm fucking saying. What's this even mean?
Yeah. You realize the absurdity of
the
this.
absurdity of everything.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like you say that someone like that, like someone like a Trump, understands. He just innately understands, I think, the absurdity of people and the absurdity of the system, and he plays within it. Maybe. And I think for him, like to bring it back
really
to sort
wish that he went on Rogan.
On Rogan? Yeah, Rogan wouldn't have him.
I know.
That's too bad. I would love it too.
I wish Trump would sit down with Joe for 3 hours and just have a conversation.
Do you think he could have a 3-hour conversation with Rogan?
I don't know.
I don't think he could.
That's the part of why I want to see it.
Yeah, I don't think he could. Honestly, I don't think Trump's stupid in any way. But I don't think he could have a constructive conversation, a good sort of on point type conversation for 3 hours. I think
maybe.
I don't know. It's just my feel.
I don't know. But I feel like that's like belittling, Belittling
what? Trump?
Well, yeah, just kind of assuming something about somebody.
Well, I'm not. Weird. Listen, yeah, maybe it is, but
I mean? Like there are some people that can't, but that's because you have a conversation with them and they like. I don't know.
But Trump does this thing. Trump does this thing which would make him really hard to talk to, where he's just anything he does is the greatest. It's the greatest ever. Nobody's ever done this better.
That's for.
You think that's for effect? He's doing that on purpose?
Yeah, like I think that's strategy.
Yeah, really.
So what I wonder is what is Trump like when it's like you and him in a room with a beer?
That'd be pretty cool to see.
Right, when there's no cameers around,
the facade is down.
Yeah, because it is like look, he's been on TV for how long? Yeah. He's now running for president. It's like everything he does, like there's so much strategy behind what he does. The people will say he's stupid because he uses simple words, but when you really think about it, like he's talking to more people.
Well, he also didn't run back when everybody wanted him to run, which was what, 92 or something
about
like
it
that.
In the 90s, yeah.
Yeah, but they were saying that he should run. People were saying he should run. He was even saying, he was like, I've been told I should run and that. And he's like, it's not the right time or whatever and that. So, yeah, you're probably right. Realistically, he probably looked at it and went, hey, this is the time to run. Like, we got Hillary Clinton, who would have won. Had he not run, she would have won. Just based on the fact that it was just based on the name.
Maybe not.
I think so. I think she would have won on the name.
Because I think people voted against her.
Well,
not for.
But I think. Trump. But I think.
So I think you could have put, unless you put like.
Well, the reason why I think
if you put like a Bush, Jeb Bush.
Oh yeah, then maybe
Clinton would have won.
Well, Maybe not. Well,
Nobody liked Jeb
because
Bush.
nobody liked Bush. Nobody liked
Bush is in the same vein as the Clintons, right? But if you put like, I don't know, Ron DeSantis, even before now, when nobody knows who he is, and he just pops up out of nowhere,
So
and he's
who
running
out
against
of
Hillary Clinton?
who out of the candidates at that time do you think would have had a shot if Trump didn't get the? Do you remember the candidates?
I think
Maybe not all of them, right?
I'm thinking about Democrats. But
No. I'm talking about the Republican.
Yeah.
So there was the doctor. What's his face?
Rand Paul would have.
No, Rand Paul wasn't one of them.
Wasn't he?
No, I don't think so.
Thought he was.
No, no, you're thinking of the other guy that was the speaker. I mean, you can look it up real quick. No, I don't think Rand Paul was. I know there was the doctor, the black doctor. What's his face? I can't remember what his name is.
He's a forgettable. He's very forgettable. It's nobody looks like.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But he's smart as fuck, though.
Yeah,
super intelligent guy. There was him. There was Jeb Bush. There was Cruz, because Cruz eventually was him versus.
Okay, I think
Trump.
Ted Cruz would have had a shot.
No, Ted Cruz. Fuck, nobody liked Ted Cruz.
Yeah, but versus Hillary Clinton, that's the problem. Like,
really, you think so?
Yes,
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I think the only person out of that sphere of people there was Trump, because for one, Trump had the platform.
Rand Paul was in it.
He was in it?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even know that. That's too bad.
Donald Trump, Jeb Bush, Scott Walker, Ben Carson. He's the guy.
Yeah.
Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, Rand Paul, Chris Christie.
Chris Christie, what a dink.
John Kasich. And then there were some candidates that didn't.
Yeah.
Because this is the debate. These are the guys that made the debate.
Yeah. There was like 12 or something.
10, I think.
10?
Yeah. I think Rand Paul would have had a chance.
Well, no, but Rand Paul didn't.
I think almost any of them.
No,
except for Jeb Bush.
The reason why I don't think Rand Paul wouldn't have had a chance at the time is because he wasn't
Too
known
many
as
people
well.
hate libertarians.
And he wasn't known as well then. I think he's known much better now, and the way he's handled all the COVID stuff and all that, I think he's gained a good traction of following. Like people like the common sense fight of stuff.
Too many people are just against libertarianism. It's weird. Well, like whatever side they're on, they want to tell you how. Like I genuinely believe that it is the vast minority of people who are willing, who genuinely have a live and let live philosophy. As long as you're not like infringing on my, my stuff or my person.
I think what people would think about a libertarian being president, like somebody who has not even necessarily a libertarian, but somebody who has more libertarian views, they would think that they'd be a little bit less likely to govern well.
Maybe
I think what
might be a psychological thing.
You know what I mean? I think that's what they would, because I think a lot of people want the strength and the hard decision making.
Yeah, like this is what we're gonna do. This is how, instead of like, well, you can make your own choices.
Right. Because they want to be told. They want to be told what to do. Right.
Yeah, which is such a bad thing. Like that's probably like the worst aspect of humanity.
Well, listen, I agree with certain things, because there's certain things that I don't want to fucking worry about. Like, for example, roads and shit like that. I want the government to just take care of it. And I know that there's a shit ton of waste in it, right? I know that
so much.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of waste, but that's what I pay.
City worker for a couple summers.
But that's what I pay, so I don't have to worry about it, right? You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like, so I can just get in my car and drive in the fucking roads and they're done. So I'm like, the waste is the waste. It's kind of the same with like anything like that. But when you're getting down to the importance, so for example, right now, healthcare wouldn't be all that important to you. Right now, as a personal thing, right? Because you're not using it. Same here. I don't use it right now.
But once
I start to fucking use it, then I'm gonna be like, that's important to me. That's why I personally like free, private healthcare. Like I like a public option, but I like private, because if I want to pay for it, for example, now, if I didn't have to pay 40% of my taxes to healthcare, and I could save that 40% of my taxes,
or invest it, or
that's what I mean, invest it somewhere, and then use it when I need it later. For private care, I'd be more for that.
Gives you more mobility,
right?
More possibility as an individual,
right? You know, you pay.
But
maybe
people
you
don't
pay,
want that individuality. People want that. I don't know. I guess maybe it's an insecurity of their own abilities.
Well, it's also the delegation of tasks, right? Like, you don't want to have to worry about every little thing. So look at anybody who.
But what if it was all done by private companies? And it was just contracted out through the government.
But then you'd need if you did have private companies for that, you'd need almost like an entity, like a government, to say, hey, no, you can't charge this, and you can only charge that.
Well, no, it's like the government
regulations
is speaking on behalf of the people. This is obviously ideal, but I feel like it might work better. The government is speaking on behalf of the people and is saying, okay, you are a private company, you can make roads. All right, well, we need to make these roads here, so we're gonna, we're gonna give you a contract for that. It's gonna be taxpayer money, and they're inclined to do it sort of efficiently, but also properly. Because if they don't do it properly, there could be like a public outrage over this company. Like, oh, this company cut corners.
There wouldn't be.
Yeah, like human beings don't work that way.
That's what I mean.
But
that's why I wouldn't.
It'd be good if.
But if you had,
if we had that kind of.
Well,
culture.
if you had like say AI.
If we had an AI,
if you had
do everything.
If you had
not
even to do
fucking robots.
Yeah,
right?
no, not even to do everything.
Robots coming
yeah,
out.
I know, not even
Have
to do everything. But the AI just oversees what the humans do, as like an overseeing thing here
the
that
AI
says
government.
The very small AI government.
Have you seen those? Have you seen the Tesla robots?
No, actually, I haven't. You're gonna pull them up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the Tesla robots.
Fucking yeah, he is.
The Tesla robots are.
We talked about Trump for a hot minute. Now we're on the Tesla robots.
Well, the Tesla.
We
robots
are. You know what we are. Honestly,
insane.
you know what we are.
Neurotic.
That too, but we're like the fucking the dog or the squirrel dog. Like squirrel. What? Shiny penny. Huh?
The shiny penny. Where's the shiny penny?
uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't stay on any topic. So sorry. What happened to our converser there? He was.
Oh, he's gone now.
He was cool. He was asking us questions, and then he called me gay and left.
Well, you're a little bit gay.
Oh, he said. Oh, he did say I was a
you're
little bit gay. A little bit gay. Thanks for that. What's wrong with being a little bit gay?
Oh, everything. You're going to hell.
True. I guess
God hates you.
I guess. Yeah. I guess the Old Testament God hates me if I'm a little gay.
No, the real God hates you.
The real God. The real God. He's coming to get all
nothing to do with the Bible.
He's coming to get all the gays. You're all in trouble, you gays.
It's got absolutely nothing to do with the Bible. It's a whole different thing that human beings haven't even discovered yet. But he fucking hates the gays, man. Holy shit, does he hate the gays?
You know what, man? It's so funny. Like, I don't know how to look at anything like that as not absurd, right? I don't know, like
the idea that God
just the idea that
care
if you were like that anybody gives a fucking shit,
especially given the scale of the universe.
If you're gay or if you're whatever the fuck you are, I don't care what you fuck. You could put a lot of it's just a misguided. You could squeeze two chairs together and fuck them, and that's your sexuality. I don't really give a fuck about it at all. Don't fuck kids, and maybe don't fuck animals because animals can't consent. So if we can get a machine that translates bark, and the dog can say, yeah, hey, fuck me in the ass, I like that. Fuck the dog, man. Like, cool, I'm good with that. But until then, maybe we don't fuck dogs and we don't fuck children. But go ahead and fuck anybody else. If they're consensual, go nuts.
Yeah.
Put your dick wherever the fuck
and
you want.
And then you get fucking
put your vagina wherever the fuck
saying
you want.
that kids can consent.
Yeah, no way.
That's those people should be put down.
Oh yeah, I agree. We agree on that one for sure. So what's this?
The Tesla robot.
That looks creepy.
Well, Musk says his robot will stand 5'8" tall. So
how tall is his wife? She looks
a
little robotic. Maybe his wife's a robot. You're gonna find out years from now she's
like
actually
super famous.
He's been setting up for a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long game. It'll weigh 125 pounds. It'll be able to move at a maximum speed of 5 miles per hour. It'll have a carrying capacity of 45 pounds and a deadlift capacity of 150 pounds.
It's just gonna be like a relatively weak
person.
Human. But it's
able to do simple person stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, like, because I can deadlift easily double that.
Yeah, but you don't need to.
But I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. So it's going to be a relatively weak person.
Yeah,
which is cool.
But it doesn't matter, right? Because it's enough to like.
No, I get it. I'm saying that's good, but that's good is what I'm saying. Because if it was super fucking
we can
strong,
fight back.
Yeah, this thing ain't gonna fight back.
Listen, this is just the first one. All right, wait till like the third or fourth generation.
Listen, Elon, don't be making them any fucking stronger. Okay, you make them weak. Make him have weak ankles or something.
The idea behind these is that they're going to use AI neural nets similar to what they're using to create self-driving cars. And it'll learn how to.
I want a fucking butler is what I want.
Well, that's what it'll be.
I want a robotic butler.
It'll be able to
Personal
learn
assistant.
how to like clean your house and how to like cook for you.
Seriously, think about that.
Yeah.
You go to work, you come home, your house is fucking spick-span clean.
Yeah.
You got food all prepared for you. You got other things set up, whatever you need. This fucking thing's just doing that shit for you. Oh my god, I want to live that. I want to live in that time.
Well, our Lord and Savior Elon Musk is here to make it a reality. Apparently,
I'll start praying to him.
Try.
If I have to, I'll start praying to him. Whatever he needs.
I mean, that could help.
Yeah.
If you think about like maybe the power of
No,
intent.
you know what we need to do? We need to get him off this fucking Twitter shit because that's taking up his
$40 billion into Tesla robots.
It's taking up his valuable brain activity on this bullshit, and we need him to just do this.
This isn't a one-man job. This is like a team of people.
I know, well,
This is like groundbreaking stuff, man. Tesla's insane. Like fucking, you wonder why Tesla's worth fucking so much? So Tesla posted their earnings like 2 days ago, yesterday or something like that, and I'll see if it's still pinned. The post.
we got a Tesla coming into the shop. I think next week for something. Gonna be interesting.
No, it's not pinned anymore.
What?
Hold on. Okay.
Muck. This is too much dead air.
I know.
Somebody's gonna come on and go. There's no sound.
Fuck. Someone posted.
Muck.
Tesla earnings have like gone up between like 60 and 100% every single year for like the last 8 or 10 years, and it's just an insane exponential progressive where it's like 1 billion to 2 billion to now 18 billion. It's absolutely fucking insane how much money this company is making and how fast it's moving in that direction. Stuff like this,
Yeah,
it's just gonna like Tesla's gonna be Skynet.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I think Tesla's gonna end up being Skynet.
Yeah.
And Elon Musk is gonna have Neuralink. You're gonna be able to plug yourself into these robots. That'll be a job. That'll be a job. You're sitting in your house with your Neuralink. You plug into the Tesla robot,
And we start a war.
and you clean someone's house, and you have a war.
We have the war, but we're all like connected. And we're all fighting the war with our fucking robots.
Yeah. Well. Fucking. Speaking of war, did you see the what Russia was saying?
No, are we going into that? No.
Well,
Did I just give a good segue into
Russia
that?
was saying. Well, it wasn't on the planning, but Russia was saying that World War III has already started, and like this is what was in the Western media or the Russian media, not the Western media, but basically the rationale makes a lot of sense because they're basically fighting NATO. They're fighting NATO weapons and NATO nationals because there's a lot of individuals that have gone to sort of independently fight this war, but Russia can easily say, it's like, okay, these are your citizens coming in to fight against us, right? So it's like, it's a workaround way because there's like a letter of marque system that kind of goes in. I don't fully know how that works, but they're basically saying World War III has already started, and it's basically because they are, the Ukrainians are armed with NATO weapons, NATO personnel, NATO support financially.
Yeah, all right.
So they're like,
That's just a funny way to spin it. Oh, is this World War III?
well, they're justifying an attack on basically.
You could have said the same thing for
Poland.
You could have said the same thing then potentially for like the after 9/11, the invasion of Iraq, because there was coordinated effort there. You had Germans, you had French, you had all different troops from all different countries. You could have said that was World War III. Like, that's stupid.
No, because Iraq isn't a superpower
I get it, but
like Russia.
yeah.
Because Russia can do more, right? Iraq can't do anything. Russia's like, no, you're attacking us. They're saying it because they're like, we're gonna attack you, and they can bite. Is the problem, right? Like Iraq couldn't bite, and then they supposedly have China support, but who the hell knows what China's plan is in this whole thing? They could be fucking playing.
China's just playing puppet master at
insane
this
game.
point, I think.
Yeah, I think they're trying to. I think China wants the U.S. and or the West and Russia to go to war, so there's a conflict in Europe, and then China's like going to move in on Taiwan and India and all these other places, and then we're going to look up from this war, and China's going to like have all this infrastructure in all these other places, and be like, yeah, the world's gonna run on yen now, or whatever the fuck the Chinese dollar is. Fucking
Yeah, what is it? Won or yen?
won, yen.
Is it? I don't know. What is it? I can't.
China dollar.
The
China dollar.
The China dollar. That's
the China dollar.
That's the actual technical term for
The China dollar.
It's the chine.
It is the China dollar.
The chine. I'm gonna pay for that with chines, please.
With Chinese. Yeah.
Excuse me.
So we haven't really talked about the Twitter situation.
Oh, you want to talk about the Twitter? Well, we were talking about Elon and Tesla, so let's get into the Twitter thing.
So you followed the latest developments on that at all?
Not really, no.
I know Twitter hasn't
made that offer and shit. And that's all I know.
Twitter hasn't formally responded to the offer.
They're not doing anything. So has anything happened as far as has Elon done anything?
Yes.
Since? Okay.
Let's get
Picked up more stock?
Not publicly yet. What happened? So he made the offer, $20 a share.
Yeah, $54.20.
Twitter hasn't formally responded yet. They implemented the poison pill strategy to sort of try to stop Elon from getting those shares. But then Elon was tweeting about like a tender offer, or not like directly, but kind of like teasing at it, which is basically, as I understand it, it's just more of it's like a direct offer to shareholders. So like if you and I owned one share of Twitter, we might get some kind of letter on behalf of Elon Musk offering us, $54 for our single share, which would be above market value. Mm-hmm. And so by doing that, he could get the majority shareholders or the majority of shares. He has secured, I think he said like almost like more than his initial offer. It was like $43 billion. I think he secured like $48 billion in financing from a few different sources to do this, which kind of points to the idea that he can just, even with this poison pill in place, he could just eat the loss and buy enough shares to own Twitter, which is almost looking like he's going to try to do that. And like it seems like Twitter doesn't want that to happen, probably because the board owns no shares. Like they don't own 0 shares, but like they might own like with excluding Jack Dorsey, who has like 2% or something. Mm-hmm. They might have like a couple $1,000s between them in Twitter shares, because they do get paid in shares and cash, but by their ownership it indicates that they just turn around and sell these shares immediately. Right? They'll get like $300,000 in stock and then they'll sell it as soon as they get it.
Yeah, because they know that Twitter stock is worth fucking shit.
It's worth nothing.
Yeah, it's worth
because
nothing
they're on the board.
Yeah, until someone like Elon takes it. Does something
in which they won't have a job, which I believe Elon has straight up said. Which obviously that's not going to encourage them to accept the deal.
Oh, of course not.
Because they're not going to get anything for it, except for Jack. They're not going to get anything for it.
Yeah.
And not like Jack Dorsey needs it.
Well, yeah. But I still don't understand. I mean, I feel like there could be a two sort of prong thing going on here with Elon. Like maybe he takes over Twitter and does what he wants with it, and it restores free speech, that kind of whatever he's. That's what I'm guessing. What his mindset is, or maybe he's exposing it for the bullshit.
I mean,
now.
He's definitely doing that.
What I'm saying though, and on
whether
purpose,
on purpose
I'm
or
saying
not,
purposely
he's
doing
definitely
that,
doing
and
that.
then gonna start something very competitive to it.
Yeah.
So who knows? I mean, like if he does that and he says, "Hey, look, this is clearly a fucking sham," so I'm gonna start.
Yeah, look at all this
Twitter
stuff that's going on. They clearly don't want you to have the right to speak.
Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be more likely that he just like buy into something that already exists because there's already infrastructure.
No, I get it.
Because what he wants to do with Twitter is first off, he wants to free up the code, make it open source.
Yeah.
And then obviously restore free speech. He's talked about dealing with the bots, doing something which we talked about earlier that might hinder anonymity. I don't know. I hope that he does it.
Yeah.
I hope that he does these things. I hope that this is like the biggest win for the culture war.
Yeah.
Of the sort of libertarian right.
Yeah, I don't know if again he seems like a chess player when he's doing this kind of stuff. Like he's a little bit ahead. So I think he's kind of
maybe.
I have a feeling he saw this all happening and like.
Oh, there's no way he didn't.
You know what I mean? So like maybe he's doing this on purpose. He knew, okay, I'm gonna buy up 10%. He's made a bunch of money on that 10% so far as it is. He hasn't realized it because he hasn't sold it yet. Mm-hmm. But if he then goes ahead and dumps it fairly quick, he's gonna make money. It's gonna tank. It's gonna tank the shares of Twitter. And then if he were to coordinate at the same time when he was starting something new, like Twitter.
I think Gab came out, and this is
that sounds stupid.
It's just one of those
Gab.
slimy moves where they're like, "Oh, hey, Elon, forget Twitter, invest $2 billion in Gab, and let's overcome." It's like, no, it's fucking.
It's gotta sound less stupid. Gab. It just sounds dumb. Like Twitter sounds fairly stupid. It sounded fairly stupid, but
it only doesn't sound stupid because it took over.
Yeah.
Or it took off.
You're right.
It became a thing. Everything sounds stupid until it's like a thing. Oh, what? You're gonna name your company Apple? That's a fruit. What the hell? What are you thinking? And then Apple's like Apple. It's like, oh, okay.
Right. Well, it wasn't Apple at first. It was Macintosh.
Was the company Macintosh?
Yeah.
I don't think it was.
Yeah, look it up. I think it started as Macintosh, didn't it?
Don't think it started as Macintosh.
Or did they buy up Macintosh? I don't know. But anyways, Macintosh is a type of Apple too, which is funny.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're looking up. I'm not looking up. I was going to say, why are we both looking up?
Was Apple Macintosh?
I thought it started as Macintosh, but I could just as easily be wrong.
Macintosh is just the name of the computer.
Oh, really? Okay. Anyways,
yeah.
I stand.
In 1984, Apple introduced the Macintosh, which was the first widely sold personal computer.
Oh, see, I always thought it was.
So it's probably one of those things where it's a branding thing.
It's
where like the computer was the Macintosh,
like,
so you assume
not every jacuzzi is a, or not every hot tub is a jacuzzi,
but
every jacuzzi is a hot tub.
Well, or
whatever.
Yeah, jacuzzi is like the hot tub brand.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things, I think, but.
Yeah, it's because I remember as a kid. I remember when those came out. I remember being a kid and it was a big fucking deal. I remember Commodore 64. I remember Commodore 64. I remember when my class got a Commodore 64 in school, and we were playing Where in the World with Carmen Sandiego, and we would you would do good shit so you got time on the computer. You'd literally get like 15 minutes to play on the computer. And it was like, oh my God, I won this time by being fucking good and doing some shit or whatever. Mm-hmm. Maybe a book report or two or something, whatever. And you get like 15 minutes on the computer. You're like, yeah. But it was Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
What a simple time.
Yeah, I know, exactly. But it was so fucking rudimentary. And then at home you had like a Atari 64 or something. I was just talking about this the other day, how I Pole Position, a game called Pole Position. I took a 13-inch boob tube TV.
A 13-inch pole?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, a 13-inch boob tube TV that happened to be color, luckily. And I made this whole little racing rig around it, out of cardboard and everything. I made it look like a fucking the cockpit of a car. Oh, yeah, it was something else on a Commodore 64. I was like maybe 8 at the time.
I have a kind of nostalgia for that kind of time period.
So do I, man. I lived in it.
Even though I didn't.
You didn't live in it. I did.
I kind of did. I was on the borders because I had a computer in my house, but it wasn't like now. It just wasn't like now, right? At a certain point, I was able to go on there and play games and stuff, but I always had like a PS2 and stuff. I don't know.
That's a PS2. Oh my God, I remember when the first PlayStation came out.
I had a PlayStation 1, but I was like little when I had a PlayStation 1, and I got the PlayStation 2. That's the one that I remember the most.
I used to do mods on them.
I barely remember playing.
I used to actually put the mods in. My buddy and I used to do the mods. You'd actually solder them in. We'd do the mods, and then we would do burn PlayStation games, like discs. The problem with them is we wanted to make ours look really, really good. So we did it on this photo paper. We'd print the labels on this photo paper and we'd stick it to the CD. But the weight of that photo paper on the CD would fuck it up. So when it was spinning, when it got really hot, it would spin too much. It would do that, I guess, or something because of the weight. Yeah. And it would fuck up the game. So we learned that the hard way. Yeah. But we used to do all that shit. Yeah. I was... Yeah, and this is... Fuck, I was like... older.
I can't play video games the same way anymore. I miss it.
Yeah.
Like, I can't just sit down and... Fuck.
I remember when Final Fantasy 1 came out, man.
I was able to fucking...
You weren't even alive. You weren't alive, sir. You weren't even alive. Final Fantasy 1. I got it in 1990, I think it was. 1990. Jesus. Yeah. I was in grade fucking 6 or something. I traded a kid for a Game Boy.
When I was in
I traded
high school,
a Game Boy for a fucking Final Fantasy.
I was just able to sit there. I could fucking play a game for 12 fucking hours. Like I could get up Saturday morning, hop on a game, and play until fucking like I couldn't keep my eyes open at like fucking 3-4 in the morning.
Yeah. See, I could do that because I had no parental. Like my parents weren't around, right? I had no parental supervision, so I could just do whatever the fuck I wanted. So on a Saturday, if I wanted to, I could sit and play a video game all fucking day from sun up to sundown. I could do that too.
I mean, like sometimes you'd have stuff going on, like I'd have certain responsibilities to attend to, but
I had no.
For the most part, like I was able to do that, but by high school anyway. But before that, my parents were like restricting my game time and stuff, and that was all bullshit.
Yeah, because you had good parents.
But
I had no parents.
There's a difference.
Yeah, exactly. There's a.
But yeah, by fucking high school, I was able to fucking just do, and I could do that. Right? I remember in grade 8 when Call of Duty Black Ops came out. Played so fucking much.
Listen, when you say that, it just makes me laugh. I remember in grade 8 when Call of Duty Black Ops. I remember in grade 8 when fucking Dragon Warrior 2 came out or something. Little like But you're moving your character around and it's like squares. You can see the fucking squares on the pixels.
But I would literally for months I would play this game. I would literally go home from school. Would hop online.
Yeah, Call of Duty? Yeah.
Yeah, hop online.
Yeah, I remember that when I was in my fucking 20s or something.
Fucking hours.
Yeah.
Go to bed, get up to go to school, and then just do it even longer on the weekends. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
What a different... It's not even the time. It's the fucking mind.
But you see that... So right? you can imagine...
You grow up, and now, like, if I play a game for too long... I can't. Like I have to do something else. It's weird.
So you realize though when you're looking at it and you're talking about that, you're talking about a game like Call of Duty, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty. The comparison to what I grew up with, like, fucking Defender on Atari 2600.
Different. Everything about it's different.
Any game you get, get on your phone. Destroys the games I was playing.
Yeah, I think the PS1 or the Sega Genesis was like the first real 3D game console.
I had TurboGrafx 16 at one point. That one was like a miss, but I bought that, and it had a game called Splatterhouse, and then Bonk's Revenge, and these different games, and I had them all. That was like. It was actually turned out it was like 12-bit graphics instead of 16-bit graphics, which was like the big because it was supposed to be TurboGrafx like 16. But yeah,
fucking 4K.
Your Nintendo was like 8-bit graphics on your Nintendo, your regular Nintendo. And I remember when Super Nintendo came out, and then like Sega Genesis, and then what would have been the next one after that? I can't remember. There was one more.
Nintendo 64?
No, because that would have come out. That came out around PlayStation. Same time. I think there was one more, and then there was like when PlayStation came out, it was a fucking deal. Yeah. It was like the big like holy fuck. And I remember the first game I played.
Same with PS2. PS2 was like a huge the PlayStation 1 and the PlayStation 2 releases were like huge deals in technology, and then the PlayStation 3 like just wasn't like it was more polished. But it wasn't the same.
It's like everything after the...
Wasn't the same kind of leap.
Even the 4 wasn't. Even the 5. Now.
Yeah, well, now it's just like... It's just a little bit more... Now it's like we're making the same games. They're just a little bit shinier.
Yeah.
And it's... Yeah, there's not the same kind of leaps. I mean, VR is kind of doing something. but it's not really there yet. I mean, it's a different experience and it's cool, but it's not where it is going to be yet.
Yeah, but I think it's getting to the point now where it's just going to be like movies, essentially. It's going to be like you're moving around somebody that looks like real.
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think there's... Well, like, it sounds good. I don't think there's a real demand for it. I think the industry is kind of figuring that out as they, there are certain games that they have just put... I forget the one that... I have a very specific game in mind that it was so forgettable that I don't remember the name. But they really were pushing, like, the graphics and how nice this game looked and everything.
Look at Elden Ring.
And it completely flopped. Yeah, but it's not... It looks nice, but it's not about the looks.
What?
No, it's
Really?
not about the looks at all.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You look at that game and it's fucking crazy. The backgrounds and shit are crazy.
Cool, but it's not about the looks.
I know, but I'm saying, but the looks are there.
Yeah.
That's what.
But there
that's
isn't. I don't think there's a drive to go to photorealistic.
I don't know. I think there is. I think
Yeah,
the closer it is to
unless
real,
you're like actually have like a movie that you're interacting with. I don't think there's. I just don't think there's a demand for it. I don't think it's gonna unless you can do it effortlessly. I think it's just gonna be too much. It'll be
Rendering?
too much effort.
What do you mean? Are you talking about rendering? With
Well, both in terms of the processing power, but if we even assume
I
that
think
that's,
if you get it
even
to the
assume that
point-
that's solved in terms of the effort that it'll take to make it.
Oh, I don't know. I think once you make one, it's like you're just copying things. It's copy and paste at that point. Once you figure out the code on shit, once you figure out the code on how to, like, for example, like let's say like EA Sports or something, right? And they're making tons of different games. Once they figure out the code, the realistic code, and how somebody moves and swings and throws and all that, they just repurpose it to other games. They might change a little whatever. Like you're throwing a football, it's like this now instead of throwing a baseball. But it's the same sort of. They just take that and change it a little bit. I think they just keep recopying the code everywhere. So I think once you figure it out and then they get a little better at it, they just keep cut and pasting the code essentially. That would be my guess.
Yeah, but when it comes to the world building, it's not the same as doing like interactions and the EA Sports stuff. It's actors.
Well, world building. Okay,
for
example, Elden Ring, right?
Yeah.
This new game. That's just basically Dark Souls.
It is Dark Souls.
Right. But I'm saying, it's like basically all the same. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
So they just use the same backgrounds and shit. And they just change.
Literally the same game. They just added a jump mechanic.
Yeah.
And then built a world.
And they built a world around it. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. And that you're making my point for me. My point is that they'll just add this one little thing to it or whatever, or just tweak this one little part of the program. And now it opens up a whole other avenue for them, right? And they just keep doing that. They just keep tweaking this thing one little bit. I think they'll do the same thing with the graphics. I think they've been doing the same thing with the graphics for years. They just keep tweaking it, and they're going to get to the point where they can't tweak it any further than making it photorealistic. Like, how do you get it much more realistic than it is now and stay in the vein of game?
That it's a game. I don't understand the distinction there.
What I'm saying though is like, so if I pull up a game on my phone,
Yeah.
and you look at it, you can tell that's a game. It's very easy. You're like, that's a game.
So you're talking about like knowing whether or not you're watching a video or playing a
Kinda,
game?
yeah. To some degree. I mean, when you're playing,
Yeah, that'd be trippy.
if you fucking,
think
if me or you even back as a kid played a game right now, like that's available now, you'd go, this isn't a fucking game. This is a fucking movie.
insane.
How
Yeah.
am I controlling a movie? How am I controlling? This is weird.
That is also a different direction that games have gone. A lot of games now are narrative driven. You look back to when you were a kid. What were you playing? There was a game there where you had to get points or collect stuff or do
or
whatever.
you had a
right?
task.
There was a game. Now the games are like there's some gameplay. Some of them are just fucking. There's hardly any gameplay mechanics. But that doesn't mean that they're not good. But it's
You mean ones that are like free roam or whatever, like things.
Well,
like,
no. I'm talking specifically about like games that are entirely narrative driven. So like, if there's no open world.
Well, give me an example.
An example. How? It's been a while since I played. What's a narrative-driven game? I don't know. I play open world games. The Last of Us.
The Last of Us? Oh,
The Last of Us.
I've never played it, but I know of it.
Yeah, it's a narrative-driven game.
What's the narrative?
What's a zombie apocalypse? And so you're kind of just, but like what I mean by that is you're going through the game.
Oh yeah.
And there isn't an open world.
But even the open world ones have a story though.
Yeah, but they're not. That's why I'm saying narrative driven. So like Grand Theft Auto isn't narrative driven because you can just go do whatever you want.
You can do whatever you want.
It gives you a world to play in.
Yeah.
The Last of Us doesn't give you a world to play in. The Last of Us, you're confined.
You have to follow the fucking...
You're confined to a certain area, and you got to follow the path that's laid out for you. And there are mechanics, there are gameplay mechanics there, but The Last of Us is good. There are games that like scale back. Well, there are fucking.
There's always going to be these games. There's always going to be the two types because people want that.
Have you ever seen a game? Okay, there's Detroit Become Human. That was newer. There's Beyond Two Souls, and there's another one that I'm forgetting the name of. That's a little older. These games, there's almost zero gameplay at all. So like in some elements you're like making choices for the character, but ultimately it's an interactive movie. Is what it is. And they're good. They're really fucking good. The story is great. And like there are a couple different paths you can go down and see like a different ending or whatever. You get a little bit of choice in terms of that regard. But that kind of thing it didn't exist. Mm-hmm. It's a whole new thing. And it's I don't know, it's interesting. I don't know why we're talking about that.
You know what? I think this whole podcast has just been, we start somewhere and we just keep going on tangents.
Ooh, a piece of candy.
We normally will stay a little bit.
We haven't talked about psychedelics yet.
No, we can't. We can't do that to anybody who might be watching. We've done that enough. This would be the podcast to where we should have done it because honestly, man, we lost fucking track this whole time. Might be a good place to end it.
Yeah, we should probably just call it there.
Just call it there, man.
We talked about our stories.
We'll try and be better next week when we now that we figured out you figured out some things.
Yeah, it all time. I need time to do it, so it all depends on when we're going to start. When if we're going to do that or not. But
yeah, I think again next week would be around 7:00. All
right,
we'll do the podcast at. Yeah, we could say that we're going to start at 7.
Let's say we start at 7.
All right. So we'll see you next week.
Maybe we'll see if that sticks, but
it will. I can do 7.
It depends because there's this work's been crazy, so there's a chance that I could be working Saturday, and that might affect things. But we'll see how
You're working Saturday, and it's going to affect your Friday night podcast.
Yeah.
Why's that?
Because I'll have to wake up at 4 a.m.
So
I
go to sleep at 9.
I don't want to. I want to go to bed at like 6. I want to sleep.
I'm not gonna let you.
I know it won't be an option.
It's gonna be a bunch of fart fucking.
If it's an option, like I could be working tomorrow, but I don't want to, so I'm not because it was optional. But
well, listen. Before you hit that stop thing.
Before
you hit the stop.
There it is.
The end session. So subscribe, comment.
Comment.
We had a little commenter for a while, and it was fun. What's his name? Gizmo.
Jizzo. He's been here a couple times.
Yeah, I know he has. Yeah, he makes good comments.
Gizzo, I guess.
Gizzo. I like. He makes good comments. He keeps us.
He's got good points. You got good points. Fucking bring him to the table.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Yeah. Tell anybody else too.
We're wrong.
And you can see we respond because get us while we're not all that popular yet.
That's right.
Because I hear it. No, I hear it through the grapevine. Okay. Yeah. This is the words on the street.
The word on the street.
The word on the street is we're gonna fucking blow up.
We're gonna explode.
So what's gonna happen? This is how it's gonna happen. I shouldn't tell you this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway.
You saw the future?
Yeah. Joe Rogan is gonna say the wrong thing. Yeah. He's gonna lose. He's gonna lose 7 million of his followers.
Well, that's like what 1% of them.
Yeah, pretty much. And they're gonna come here, and they're gonna like us better.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, buddy.
We're gonna start doing interviews.
Listen, I don't want to say this, but I'm gonna say it. I'm funnier than Joe Rogan. Better looking than Joe Rogan. I could clearly take him in a fight. Clearly. Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that.
Everybody knows that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't have more money right now, but I will. Okay, I'm gonna have more money than Joe Rogan too. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure the UFC is gonna fire him and they're gonna hire me. That's just word on the street, man. That's all just word on the street. I'm not supposed to say any of this stuff. I'm not supposed to say any of it. Okay. Sorry, Joe, if you're watching, because
Joe would not be watching.
He watches.
Oh yeah, that's right. Joe's